Hi everybody, it's Neil Walters. I was going to try to hold my phone the other way, but it says you can't go live with the horizontal mode. Doggone it. I'm wearing my Always Forward t-shirt today. This is from a company I work for in Chicago called Echo Logistics. And so with Bitcoin, we're always moving forward. Today I want to talk about who to trust and who not to trust. That was one of the questions the other day. Hello, Rabbi Juan. How are you? So somebody asked about who to trust and who not to trust. So that's what I'm going to try to be giving you as a summary over the days, just these little short videos of things you can do to help yourself with Bitcoin and all these other coins. But I want to tell you some of the guys I follow and then who not to follow today. So that's kind of going to be my summary. It's going to be a quick video because I know the holiday, so maybe tomorrow I'll do a longer one. So the number two people I like to watch the most, first of all, is Marius Landman. And he has a private service, which I'll tell you about later, where he gives advice to people who pay him to get that advice. And he's my number one guy. And he puts out a video or a webinar like every week. It's probably 2 hours long. And he also puts out blogs and little reports about what's going to happen next in the market. So he's my number one guy to follow for my investing choices. But again, this is not financial advice, right? Number two is Bitcoin Ben. I mentioned him yesterday. Bitcoin Ben is the stuttering truck driver, and he really has a passion for cryptos and Bitcoin and helping, quote unquote, the little guy, people like us, get involved. And he goes around, actually does meetups, like meetup.com. He does these meetups at different restaurants in different cities. And he has some contests and stuff to help him raise money because he actually flies to these different places and holds these little mini conferences. Like sometimes at a restaurant, he'll be there like 8 hours and over 150, 200 people will file through over that 8 hour time period. But he's very motivational. He's a family guy and he really is a truck driver, and sometimes he makes his videos from his truck. But he has the passion to get Bitcoin out to everybody. So some of that is rubbing off on me. So I really admire Bitcoin Ben. I hardly miss any of his topics. I'm looking over here at my notes. Next three are kind of equal, but I follow them pretty regularly. Number one is Bix Weir. His website and his YouTube channel is called Road to Ruta, and that's a whole interesting story which I could explain later. Hi, Jacob. How are you? Good to have you on the show today. So Bix Weir talks about Bitcoin. He's big into silver as well. One of the things he teaches all the time is he says all the markets are kind of rigged. And he says that you can't trust the volumes you see on any of the crypto exchanges. And he and the others also say to keep your money off of the exchanges, pull them off and put into a private wallet. That's something I can go over later in a more techie type video. Because these exchanges, if you have your money on them, and if one of them is to go broke, then your money will disappear. That's what happened with a company called Mt. Gox several years ago. People had their Bitcoin on Mt. Gox, and then Mt. Gox had a problem, and then their Bitcoin went bye-bye. The next one is Dick Algar. He's an interesting guy. He's actually a remote viewer, so if you're into the Woowoo stuff, he and his people do whatever they do, and they kind of predict what's going to happen next using this technique called remote viewing. And he's also been, he says, tutored or mentored by some people who are kind of like showing him what's going on in the world. So he's got a good big picture, and I don't know who these people are that are tutoring him. And one of the interesting things is all these guys, that once they get connected, they get more connected. So like Bitcoin Ben, people respect him and they call him, and he has these interesting connections and conversations, sometimes with CEOs or heads of exchanges or pretty high up people. And sometimes they'll leak just a little bit of information to him, and then he in turn leaks that information to us. And then we can use that information to our advantage. Hi, Joy. How are you doing? We're talking about Bitcoin today. I'm doing a little mini series on how people can learn about the basics of Bitcoin in little, hopefully as short as possible videos. And I'm talking about the people who I watch regularly. The next one is Omar BAM. I probably don't watch him as much. His YouTube channel is called Crypto. Instead of an O, it's a zero. And he's more like a news reporter. He just kind of follows the news every day and gives you like a daily summary, but he's not biased, I don't think. Sometimes I watch JSnip4. He sometimes has a lot of weird stuff, but he has some good stuff too. And I just started watching recently a guy named Crypto Lark, and he has kind of long 20, 30-minute videos that he talks about what's going on. Now, who not to trust for your cryptos? Do not trust the mainstream media. If you see it on TV, on NBC, CBS, Fox, whatever, you know, it may be halfway right, but it seems like they all have their own taints to what they're trying to say. And so if they're saying buy, maybe you should sell, in other words, because by the time it gets to that level and to the public, everybody's already buying it, and by then the price may be dropping. So don't trust mainstream media. And the other guy I heard today, he had an interesting saying. He says, don't trust your grocery store clerk or your Uber driver. So by the time for instance, your Uber driver is telling you you ought to buy Bitcoin, it's probably too late because everybody's already bought Bitcoin, and then it's going to go down. So remember, Bitcoin never goes straight up or straight down. It always has these little jiggity jaggedy curves, and you can actually make money when it's going down too, because it'll go down, then it'll go up a little, then it'll go down a little, then it'll go up a little, then it'll go down a little. So you just kind of have to watch the right people who can advise you on when those little turns of the market are. In general, there's a term called HODL, H-O-D-L, which means hold on for dear life. Those are people that just like buy a Bitcoin and they lock it up and they say, I'm not going to do anything with it. And they just wait, say, a year or two, and then they hope it's going to be worth 100,000 or a million or whatever. And then other people are like swing traders, which I guess is kind of what I am. I follow what these other teachers are teaching me, and they say, okay, the market's about to turn around. So you might make a trade every 2 months or so, give or take, maybe 6 weeks, 2.5 months, when major trends change in the market. Then, of course, there's day traders, and that's more like gambling. That's the people who trade multiple times a day, and they may make just a little 50 cents or 100. Well, you know, Bitcoin can actually go up like $1,000 in a day or down 1,000. So they can, some of them can make a lot of money, but it's for the average person. If you're not really technical, if you don't have the skills to run the technical marketing programs, that's not for the normal person. So those are some of the guys I say to trust and not to trust, and I'll be glad to take your questions either below this video, or you can contact me through a text message on Facebook. And tell me what you want to know in the next video. Otherwise, I'm going to just make up some more topics like I did today. So everybody have a great July 4th. It's Freedom Day, freedom for the U.S. And I think with Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum and some of these, that can be our financial freedom. You can use it to get out of debt and be truly free. So we'll see you maybe tomorrow on the next video. Again, have a good July 4th. Thanks for stopping. Bye-bye.